You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the Chop Shop. Yeah, it's lit in the Chop Shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based in debate, but they keep it facts straight. Going 30 for 30, let's do a first take on Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks going back and forth like Carter Ray and Skip Bayless and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal. To the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket. Put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, he hit me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the Chop Shop, cause they cutting up. It's Retro coming to you live to the Chop Shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the Chop Shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hatter. You can catch the Chop Shop live from 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop.
H-Town, what's up? You know what time it is. It's time for the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, alongside Jim Hicks, coming to you live from Houston, Texas. But we're broadcasting all over the world via Facebook Live and YouTube Live. It's a great, great day. Is what Jimmy? What did you call this, Baby Friday? And I just want to say, Jimmy, before I start this show, a shout out to Ramon Walker and the University of Houston. Ramon, thank you from the bottom of my heart, young man. Continued success for you. I tip my hat to you. You, your mom, your dad, your family, Coach Presidents over there at Shadow Creek. You know, Jimmy, I don't know, I'm not familiar, but he is one of the first guys that I remember that announced their commitment on the show with the thing like they do on ESPN. He used this platform very smartly and very cleverly to and guess what? To do it the way he wanted to, right there with him and his family. Shout out to U of H. I mean, that coaching staff out there. I was watching the guys from over the years. You know, the guy Tremont Marks, the guys before him. Jimmy know him a lot better than I do, but they're putting a hedge around their top players in this city. U of H. Shout out to you. But Jimmy, it's a lot of stuff going on in the news today. We got some stuff with the NBA. I got a lot of stuff. We got some special guests today. I'll let you talk about that. But Jimmy, I saw some information and I want the parents to take a look at it and go research it. Somebody sent it to me this morning. They said, Robert, if you have a college kid, tell them to apply for the CARES Act COVID relief funds. If you have a college kid, I haven't vetted it yet. I want y'all to go out there and look it up. It's called the CARES Act COVID relief funds through their college financial aid department. These are funds, not a loan. They don't have to pay these back. This is a fund. So go check into it. Take a look at it, parents. I don't have a kid in college. but somebody sent me this information this morning, and I want y'all to take a look at it. Jimmy, remind me to mention that toward the end of the show, because I know everybody's not on the show yet. But it's called the CARES Act COVID Relief Funds through their College Financial Aid Office. Okay, so Jimmy, what we got, man? What we got in store? Because I got a couple of things about the NBA, but what we got? What you got? What you got in store
Yeah,
for us today?
I want to just tap in. You mentioned U of H and yesterday Ramon Walker. You guys know that that was historical for him doing so, and the thing is for him being able to keep it under the wraps, and was in control of his narrative, and that's what at the Chop Shop we invite you guys to consider. If you have relatives that want to be in control of their narrative, want to do and would like to do something similar, then as far as with their college decision, then guess what? Just send us an email. Send us an email. A closed mouth can't get fed.
Oh, I like that.
And so the email address is chopshophtx@gmail.com. Chopshophtx@gmail.com. I mean, think about it, amongst this during this COVID-19 pandemic, this is a way that your your grandparents can see you, relatives can see you, and understand. If you go on Twitter, most video platforms, you have stipulations. You can't get the same interactions at the same time unless you go to maybe Instagram or something. And I think those are even limited to a certain, and it's not the same. So Chop Shop, here we are. So I also want to remind you, Hattie, you mentioned about U of H, and I want to give acknowledge, first of all, Kevin Sampson on yesterday forgot to announce after Ramon's announcement that he decided and agreed to take a pay cut. So he's taking a 10% pay cut. May not sound like much to you, but guess what? Okay, that's basically.
Jimmy, it sounds like much. You don't even have to go there. Everybody who got a job understand what 10%. That's $10 out of every $100 you make. I mean, $10, out every 100. That 10%, yes, means a lot.
That's a good chunk. He's giving up 10% of his salary so that it can help and keep others within his program or within the U of H faculty family from being laid off or furloughed, as they would call it. So also understand the one thing about U of H. Kevin Sampson came in 2014, right? Took over. He was with the Rockets. Remember Kevin McHale, and 11 games in, he was assistant coach up under Kevin McHale. So he was already living here, which was an easy transition. The owner of the Rockets is also the largest donor of living donor, and historically donor of the U of H athletics. In case you guys didn't know, the owner of the Houston Rockets is also the largest donor for the U of H athletic program, Tillman Fertitta. Well, he also owns a lot of casinos and Landry's restaurants, and that's how he get gained the vast majority of his wealth. Well, in 2014, U of H, there was two players in H-Town, right? One, they got out of high school right across the street. Time he came in, he looked over and got J.C. Washington. I won't forget that. J.C. Washington was playing a little bit and actually played a little bit. For as a freshman, played a good freshman minutes. He wanted to transfer, thought he wanted to do more, thought he can go bigger. That same year, they got Damon Dotson because the scandal in Oregon was going on. They got Damon Dotson to transfer over. He had to sit out a year, and so while he sit out a year, and while the Oregon stuff was getting dissolved, settling down, he took class over in the Houston Community College Network and whatever, and came on and played, finished his career there. So that's 2014. 2015, Galen Robinson, Westbury Christian High School. He was also a top 10 player in the area. 2016 is the only year they didn't get a top player. They didn't get one recruit from H-Town because they knew that they weren't going to be able to play probably from what they had coming back and what they had gelling. So you don't want to get a player locally and have him be sit. So 2017, It made up for it. They got Fabian White from Atascocita. Fabian White was a top 10 player in the area. Cedric Alley was a top 10 player in the area. 2019, they got Quentin Grimes by way of transfer. Brought him back home, just like they brought Damian Dotson back home. And in 2020, Tremont Mark. 2021, obviously, actually, he was signed in 2020 as Ramon Walker, and that'll be part of the class of 2021. My point is, U of H that's a pipeline of the top 10% of talent from this area. A top shelf player is staying home. So when people hear the narratives of, man, why U of H ain't getting the kids staying home? I think about doing the math. Howard, you went to several U of H games this year.
Yeah.
How many U of H players was on that roster this year? I mean, Houston players was on the U of H roster this year.
I don't keep up with that. I just don't keep
Fabian White.
Yeah.
Quentin Grimes.
Cedric Alley.
Yeah. Chris Harris.
Yeah.
And I missed Chris Harris, a part of that class 2015. They signed him. I mean, he committed to 2015, but had to went to San Jack. But I mean, they still landed him in that 2015 class. So I forgot about him. Said add Chris Harris. So that's 4. If you get 1 every year, as I said the other day, that means you will always have 4 on roster, pretty much, on the average. But then Cedric Alley is the only player of all those that I've named to you that transferred out under Kevin Sampson. That's a good ratio.
So Cedric Alley and who?
He's the only one that transferred out since Sampson has been the head coach. That's a hell of a ratio.
Interesting.
Right, as it stands. You think about that. Let that soak in. That's how many. I said JC, Damian, Galen, Chris Harris, Fabian White, Cedric Alley, Quentin Grimes, and we don't count Tremont Mark got there. So that's 7. That's 6 out of 7 have stayed. Don't get it twisted. Quentin Grimes could have left after this year. He could have transferred again.
But Tony Stubblefield said something so key. He had a great interview with him. Thank you. Shout out to Tony Stubblefield and Damon Stoudemire. Those guys were so informative to me yesterday. But Stubb said usually when you get the guy the second time around, the guy you gonna usually keep him. Usually after he transferred at one time, he understand what's happening, and you usually will keep him. That's what Tony Stubblefield said yesterday, and I found that very, very, very interesting. Yeah. I found that very interesting.
And another thing I want to add on is that remember this, guys.
Did JC leave too?
Yes.
JC. So
I'm sorry, JC left. Yeah.
Okay, those two. Okay.
JC left.
Okay.
JC left.
Okay.
So 2. So it's 5 out of 7.
Okay.
Sorry about that. JC left.
No,
JC,
you're good.
JC left. And also, shout out to Alfio. He said that don't forget about Tim Fertitta, the Post Oak Hotel.
Yes.
I mean, I know that he owns that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And also the San Luis Resort down in Galveston up here. Yeah, he owns that.
Mastro's, that whole lot. Mastro's, Willie G's, that whole lot over there on Post Oak. And guess what? And it's so
do you own a Bentley dealership?
Yes. Yeah, he owned the Bentley.
Oh, he just owns the building. That's what I'm saying.
He owns everything on that property from Post Oak over there to San Felipe, other than the hotel called Marriott. All of that property that sits the Willie G's, the Mastros, all of that property he owns, and all of that is what? The hospitality business. So it's he gonna be it's a downtime for the hospitality business right now.
Yeah, and so speaking of NCAA news, we're gonna get into some NBA news.
Yeah, you good. Do you think?
And remember the case, NC State and the federal trials a couple of years ago, and one of the things that came out was notices of infractions from the NCAA to those colleges. Well, NC State was one of the schools that during the testimony that somebody got on the stand and said that about $46,000 had been given to Dennis Smith. And remember now, remind you, this was during the time that he was flirting. He appeared to be promising for the Dallas Mavericks. When this stuff started coming, did you notice how this thing went? It seemed like they put him together, packaged him for a trade for Porzingis, and Dennis Smith has not been the same ever since. His whole swag, it's like somebody got a needle and poked into the balloon and all of the air seeped out. Remember, Dennis Smith and De'Aaron Fox was in the, we're talking about coming in. That was a conversation. Who's going to now look at it? As I'm telling you, man, and he went to New York.
But Jimmy, it's just like I say, it's just the right fit in this thing. I mean, them kids, you gotta understand, none of them kids, man, in basketball, if you're not the super duper can't miss prospect, man, it's about fit, man. You go to the right organization, the right time, at the right. Think about this, man. I keep thinking about. That's why I love The Last Dance, because you get the behind the scenes. Some of these people behind the scenes, Jimmy, don't you think it's not another Jerry Krause out there now? Come on now. Don't you think it's not another Reinsdorf out there now? Don't think it's other, and always y'all look at those fledgling, those losing franchise for decades that don't never amount to happen. All you got to do is go to the top. Look at the management. That's why Michael Jordan got mad at Charles Barkley. Because Charles Barkley said, man, dude, you're hiring your kiss ass friends. He didn't say you're hiring your competent friends. He said you're hiring your kiss. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna hire people that Jimmy, I always tell you there's two things. I tell people this, even in my business. It's two things you're looking for, Jimmy. You're looking for competence is number one. He got to be able to do the job. And number two, you're looking for comfort. Competence and comfort. Can I be around this guy? First, you got to be good now. So what happens is, I'll go around and look and back to Dennis Smith. Sometimes you just don't go to the right program. They got the right development coaches. They got the right, Jimmy, it's just so much stuff that goes on into these organizations, man. And we just think, well, he's in the NBA. Yo, I know a kid, I'm gonna give y'all insight. I know a kid he's a grown man. I know a young man who's in the NBA right now. And he had a problem. He bounced back and up and down in the G League because he thought, man, I'm that dude. But he get up there, it's different. He in the G League, he was questioning himself. He was questioning the people around him. He was questioning everything, Jimmy Hicks. He was questioning, he had to go see somebody. He had to go get on the couch. Because it's not fun. That NBA, man, that all of y'all strive for, 90-some% of it, I don't know how many, is mental. How you have, everybody know, but you got to be able to play basketball. That's the price of admission to get there. But what are you going to do to help you stay there? And the Dennis Smiths of the world, Jimmy, when you go back and look at all this, and he just got caught. But Jimmy, I've heard some stories about Dennis Smith. It's no wonder why his professional career is not great. Let me tell y'all something, man. It matters who you have around you, Daryl Richardson, Alfio Vizzi, Lori Dotson. It matters. It matters who you have around you and in your corner. Think about this, Jimmy, and I think I've told this story. Tillman Fertitta, the guy you just talked about, own all this stuff, he got a dream team of lawyers and business people around him. Okay? He's the owner of a team. Steve Ballmer, who owned the Clippers, he got a dream team of people around him. He got the best people around. But our players, they'll just hire any damn body. Watch your owner. Young men, watch your owners. See, Jimmy, if I'm going to be a copycat, I'm gonna copy the baddest cat. That's why I love Kobe. Kobe didn't go copy Tim Duncan. He copied Michael Jordan. What we have to do, young players and young guys who coming up in this business, follow what your owner doing. Your owner is hiring the best. In fact, some of the owners, not the NFL owners, we're going to get on them one day, Jimmy. We've been had too many guests. You don't want me to get on them NFL owners. But they're hiring Timothy Fertitta, his business people, are a dream team of people. Players, this your business. Hire your dream team, not little Johnny that you like, not your kiss-ass friends. Hire your dream team of people around you and to make sure your career go. Because guess what? If your career not going good, they'll instruct you. And you remember, Jimmy, you remember the story I told the coaches about my son. I said, Coach, I tell the owners this about a player. I said, Coach, before you make a drastic decision with my son, because I know he crazy, something might happen up there. Just give me a chance to straighten it up. Give me a chance to talk to him first. That's all. Hey, owners. Hey, if my kid messing up if I represent the kid. Hey, Doc. I tell the general manager, if you got a problem, give me a chance to talk to him first. Let me see can I handle the problem and help you. So, Jimmy, I didn't mean to go that long, but that's a teaching moment because we want to be great. We want to be great. Well, have your team around you great too. That's all. What else you got, Jim?
Well, speaking of NC State, we got about 5 minutes before we've been joined by one of two different guests this afternoon, which we will have continue our weekly installment of Grassroots Conversation. So stay tuned for that 5 minutes. Meanwhile, speaking of the point about the NC State is that the NCAA has agreed and ruled that the newly formed IOP, that independent accountability resolution process group that was recommended as a result of the Condoleezza Rice and that commission, they will see that there's only two schools. That's an independent, supposed to be an independent council that will decide on the fate of the program. Memphis is the only other that has been designated to have their situation, of course, with James Wiseman decided under the IOP. Also, got good news on the NCAA. Good news, not by them, but by the way of a judge. A judge has decided, right, that the NCAA, they have withheld a ruling, and the NCAA is trying to fight it, that will allow colleges to pay for any education-related expenses for all student athletes in the future. What does that mean? For example, just short, they can buy a laptop now, educated-related expense. So you can take it from there, just trying to breeze through a lot of the stuff.
Anything that'll help you with your classes and your labs and all. Well, they won't let players take no labs. Yeah, but
maybe the earbuds are going in that to keep it quiet. That way you be able to study in the library. So maybe that education-related expense.
I like that, Jim. I like that.
That's a ruling now. Now the NCAA would be embarrassing for them to try to take it to the Supreme Court because $100 million is at stake. Is what it would be estimated it would cost to provide this fund, this slush fund for all student athletes. And so that's that. All the big three cancel their season, Heather.
Oh yeah, no. Okay. Are you surprised?
Smart move. Yeah. You know why? Because a lot of people that's in the big three that are playing that's involved, you understand, traveling city to city, and they rely heavily on the fans, which was surprising. They've turned the corner. You don't want to come back and have a fragmented stadium and it lose your fears. You know, that way now some of the guys who you really wanted to push out of the big three, they're a year older. They ain't gonna even want to come back anyway. Because you need some new blood up in there. They modifying the rule. That smart move for Ice Cube. What else we got in NBA?
No, it's just the NBA teams are expecting the league offers. They will release some guidelines around issued guidelines around June the 1st that will allow franchises to start recalling players who have left their market to return as a first step for a formal wrap up of the season. I call it the recall process, Jimmy. And part of the issue with the NBA and a number of other sports like golf and tennis is they are international based sports. They got players from golf, tennis, and basketball, got players from all over the world. And a lot of guys are coming back from their home countries. It's going to be going through this process of getting them back, and the medical steps that it's going to take a bit of time now, Jimmy. The NBA is starting to get the wheels in motion. Someone is going to be, you got to understand, someone is going to be positive. Somebody's going to be positive. Let's get this understand. But what is their reaction going to be when it happened? That's what they got to understand. It's a story came out, Jimmy, yesterday about Washington Redskins 4th-round draft pick Antonio Gandy Golden out of Liberty College. He actually tested positive in the pre-draft March 24th in the combine at the combine. He was self-quarantined, and by April he was clear. So Jimmy, this thing been around, boss. This thing been around now. The league. Let me help you out a little bit, y'all. Jerry Walters. The league is discussing a step-by-step plan that includes a 2-week initial recall of players into the team markets. Place for a period of quarantine. You come to the city and quarantine, and then about 2 weeks of individual workouts at the team facility, and then about 2 to 3 weeks formal training camp. And that these guys, see, Jimmy, you never know what these guys been doing at home. These guys might be doing Earl Thomas and ain't got caught. You follow me? So it's a whole lot of stuff. I'm sorry, Earl. But but that's all. I just wanted to share that with you. The NBA they're on the road. If you're an NBA fan, they're on the road to recovery. They trying to get this thing right.
And of course, guys, coming up shortly, we expect to be joined and start our grassroots conversation. And we will have first up the Southern Assault program, which is based in Dallas. They're sponsored by Adidas. This was a first-year merger, right? A merger between a consolidation of such between two programs. And that's a lot of things. A lot of times in business, that's how it goes. Understand? It's one of those things where if more mergers would have transpired, and mergers have transpired. We had Tim Schumacher a week ago on here with the Houston Hoops. And a lot of people may not understand the Houston Hoops have been not necessarily consolidating, but yes, in a way, consolidating with other programs for years. That's what has kept them alive. Well, not what, but one of the things that has kept them so strong. And understand, back, Adam, when your son was in his last summer, 2012, summer 2012, that was a summer when I think the Hoops had merged, well, consolidated. I rather that word.
Woohoo!
Didn't Justin Jackson on that team?
Oh, you talking about with Trauber?
Exactly. That was a consolidation.
Okay, that was a merge. Okay. See, I didn't, man, I wasn't keeping up with that.
Remember now, Justin Jackson was the only Houston Hoops player returning with experience on the 17s that summer. That had been in uniform, that had experience. He was the only one returning. Steve Trauber had the team that had won the AAU Nationals 2 times. Justice Winslow, Kadeem Lattin, and all those boys. They were called the Houston, Houston Select? What was they called? I can't remember. But anyway, one of you guys in the boom.
I forgot their name.
Help me out with that. But that team was kicking butt.
With Bridgewater. They had a nice little old team.
Yeah,
Etienne was the point guard.
Etienne.
Not Brandon, the one that went to North Shore.
Yeah.
He rapping now. He rapping now. Yeah. That was
So
a
think
fun. You know
about
what,
it.
Jimmy? That was a fun.
Remember, another merger that happened with a consolidation that happened with the Houston Hoops was they got with Clyde Jackson of the Gulf Coast Blue Chips. Clyde Jackson had a strong arm on a lot of the young talent. He had LeBron James' son playing with him at first during those times. They had played with him. And then guess what? So then the LeBron son ended up playing with the North Coast Blue Chips, but Clyde still had the talent. So the smart thing to do was to go and you find a way to put your peanut butter with their milk chocolate, make you a Reese's peanut butter cup. That's what they did. And so understand, teams do it all the time. Programs do it all the time. So in this situation up in Dallas, it's not like another. They did it for the betterment of that city.
And Jimmy, especially with these sneakers teams, because let people understand, because I didn't know it when I was a parent. When Robert played on that team, I didn't understand. Expect their job is to get the best players, the top ranked and the best players in their region. Mm-hmm. That's their mandate. That's their mandate. Hold up. That's their mandate. That's their mandate to get the top players. So guess what? If I don't have all the top players and Jimmy got some of the top players, hey, Jimmy, let's merge this thing because I got to make sure. Hey, I'm gonna lose my contract. I ain't gonna say you're gonna lose your time, but guess what? I'm gonna be frowned upon differently if I don't have a top team. We had a team, Texas Pro. It was on the Nike circuit, Jimmy, at some point. And yeah. I don't know what happened there. They took the contract. Maybe, I don't know. Was it because you couldn't field enough team? I don't know. I wasn't. You know a little bit more about that than I do. Was it because he couldn't field a team? Because we had a sneaker team here in the city. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what happened in that situation? It happened before. We had to. Some of you might not want to talk about, but I'm just saying.
I mean, I do know that same year, Steve Trauber had approached the Texas Pro organization first about joining them, and they didn't agree, and the administration didn't agree with the proposal. And the rest is history. So they went over across the street and joined them, and there you go. But it happens all the time. And so, speaking of consolidations, mergers, whatever you want to call it, but I prefer the word consolidate, and it sounds more of a unified term, and that is up in Dallas. 2 programs, and one of the gentlemen is here with us right now today. I'm about to bring him to the screen. He's in the dressing room, as Howard like to say right now. Get his makeup on. Y'all don't see him, guys. He's suiting his boots. Yeah. He got a striped shirt on and everything ready for y'all. But that was, remember, 2 prominent programs. One was the Urban DFW Elite, and the other one was the YGC 36. And that will tell you shortly what that YGC 36 stood for. This team won nationals. Well, the Adidas variation of nationals, right? And also, this team, when back in the days, Marcus Smart played with them. They ran the table in Vegas, Howard. We'll talk about that shortly as well. But without further ado, a guy that's been in the business for over 2 decades and has been working. Of course, some of the guys he's put on, he's helped emerge out. Tony Mitchell, right? Latavius Williams, Marcus Smart, amongst just name a few. And that is Vanzel Thomas from up out of the DFW area with the Southern Assault program, and they're sponsored by Adidas.
Jimmy, I got to talk to Vanzel right now. Vanzel, I'm gonna give you your clap. But Vanzel, do me a favor. Turn your device that you listen to the show, turn it down, because I can hear it in your background.
I don't have none now.
Okay, because something in the background I was hearing. I'm sorry. It was something in the background I kept hearing on this side. Okay, all right. So it wasn't you. Yeah. But man, let me give you your claps again. Thanks for coming on the Chop Shop, man. Let me tell you something. This is Jimmy's baby. This is wheelhouse. I wanna learn from y'all. I wanna know everything about the merger. I didn't want him to tell me nothing about it. I want you to walk me and these our fans and our supporters. We on two separate platforms, Vanzay. I don't know if you know. We on YouTube Live and we on Facebook Live. So wherever you make sure your people know you're on the air right now. But me personally, I just tell me. I mean, Mark is smart. I mean, he ran that. Let me tell you something. I didn't follow the Adidas circuit as much. So guess what? I'm gonna have a front seat to listen to you, and you tell me what's going on. Talk to me. What's going on, man?
First of all, man, thank you for having me on. Wish Jazz was on with me, but tell you, man, Adidas circuit is another very, very, very strong circuit that produce a lot of talent. It was brought to Jazz and I during July. And obviously at first, you know, when the idea come across, it's not going to be, you're going to be like, man, I'm not doing that. Like, it's great. But then the more we sat there and thought about it, we kept talking and talking and talking. We put our heads together. We was like, you know, man, we could do something really special. We just throw our egos to the side. And you can't say that if it's not about the kids. You know, we're all about the kids. So, you know, if you have a different attitude, you have a different, how you want to say it, a different goal or something else that you want behind the scenes in this game, you can't do anything like this.
And so now tell them briefly, some people want to know, I think if I asked the question, what team merged again? If somebody didn't get it earlier, just let them know what two programs that merged.
Urban DFW Elite and YGC 36.
And what does YGC 36 stand for? And when was it founded?
Actually, it was found. YGC 36 stand for Young Game Changers, and then 36 was Marcus Smart jersey number. It was founded 5 years ago, and we pretty much started at the bottom for YGC 36. We didn't even know we was gonna be on the shoe circuit till the week before the first gauntlet.
Wow.
Why?
So,
why?
Yeah, I guess they were just trying to figure out a way to get us in, and then it was a week before. Then we got a phone call and said, "Hey, here's the schedule. You guys in? Blah blah blah." We didn't even have the talent we needed to do. So you can imagine how the games went. But it pretty much made us, for YGC 36, it pretty much made us hungry. And we just kept building every year until it got to where we needed it to be. But the first key to all of this whole merger, I won't say the first key, but a big part of it, was when Marcus Smart signed with Puma. So he Puma, we couldn't carry his name on the Adidas circuit anymore. So a lot, yeah. So we had to change program names and stuff anyway, and then that's when the idea came across.
But Vanzell, help me out, Vanzell. Boy, I'm glad you said that. This is key. So you couldn't carry his name, but they honored the contract. They honored not the contract. They honored the team's position on the circuit.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. What it was he wasn't under contract. It was going through something. I don't know what it was. He was still wearing Adidas, but at that moment he wasn't under the contract yet.
Oh.
And yeah, so then that's when he got his opportunity with Puma.
I got you.
You know, and it was a situation where it kind of put us in a bad situation, because we knew at the moment where our heart is. Yeah. But we had to make a decision for the better of the kids. Okay. Because Puma circuit.
Puma don't have a circuit. There you go.
And so in doing so, what was the reservations, if any, at first? You know, they had the risk versus reward, and it's a great thing that you guys came together, and you've yet to take the court for the first time. But back then, what was the reservation? What was the timetable that you're dealing with you and Jazzy when you guys first sit down and try to put this thing or talk on the phone to make this thing really, really work?
Hey, I tell you this. Actually, it happened in Vegas before the Final Four. That we was about to play the Final Four against Mass Rivals. And
you mean grassroots Final Four of an event?
Yes.
Right? Okay, I'm gonna make sure that I'm talking about NCAA Final Four. Okay, keep going.
This finale, we was about to play in the Final Four when Jazz and I first sat in our office, and second time we sat in our office. And I'm not gonna lie, when the conversations was going, I was sitting there and looking, and he looked at me, and we both kind of nodding our head like, man, this ain't happening, bro. But like I said, after that, it got to a point where, like I said, we kept talking about it, and we started looking at things. And Jazz and I sat down. We had lunch, and we were sitting there talking, and then a light just went off. We was like, man, what are we doing? What are we second guessing for? It just went from there.
Two powerful men sitting down and said, man, what are we doing? Let's get this thing done.
So as far as coaching the team, how was it going to work? Of course, both of you guys had been coaching on your sidelines the previous summer. Jazzy with his respective program, Urban DFW, you with your program. How did y'all decide and come to the agreement and what was the agreement on the coaching situation? Who would be the guy stand up on the bench? Because the referee said, hey, one of y'all stand up at a time.
Yeah, well, Jazzy was more at the point where he was more into directing and sitting back. Because even with Urban, he had Coach Derek Perkins coaching Urban. I think the last couple years, 2 years. So Jazz was pretty much directing already, and we talked about it. I told him, I said, hey, I'm not going to, basically like sit back. I'm going to coach the team. This it's one of those situations because you have to think about it. Even for YGC 36, at 16, you won Adidas also. And they was moving up. And those kids been, the majority of those kids been with me for a long time. So they moved up. And then obviously we had the key pieces with, Wade Taylor, Harrison Ingram. We added a couple, Chris Moore, and we added all of these pieces. And it was just there in the situation from the core that was coming back from the Adidas championship team. Yeah, so it was a great situation. And we both, Jazz have a hell of a resume. Hopefully I have a respectful resume. And, we both built our resumes differently. And my personal resume came from, I don't want already made players. You look at it, a lot of our players in our program was rejected, was cut from Nike, was cut from.
Give us an example. Give us an example of that.
Give an example, like that team last year. You look at out of our 10 players, 9 of our players didn't make a team and got cut from Drive, from Pro Skills, from
Really?
Yeah. So I'm fine with that. I'm fine with developing kids. I'd rather make a star than to piggyback off a star. That's just how I operate. I don't care about the big names. I'd rather make a name. So, and that's where I'm, I don't get paid for doing this. So we're not getting any income from this. It's going to be harder work, but it's more rewarding at the end of the day that you help the kid dream come true.
I mean, it is awesome, and we definitely commend you guys. So now, going into the season, the COVID-19, before you can actually, get on the court with this new consolidation, this new product, between those two successful programs. Tell us about how did that affect the COVID-19? Has it affected the program? Have you lost any players? Verbally in committees? Have you picked up any?
Our team pretty solid, man. The kids, we jump on Zoom calls. Everyone's talking. Each team, 15, 16s, and 17U is pretty solid. No one's moving around. It's they pretty much know what they have in us as far as loyalty, and you don't see that a lot now. It's kind of like if the NCAA would have passed that rule about the one-time transfer. Loyalty, they'd kind of make college basketball like AAU basketball or grassroots. So, but the good thing is that all our kids been loyal and they trust what we have and the work that we can put in for them to get them to the next level. So they're not leaving them thought about it. We stay on the phone, stay in contact with each other.
And I have a question, a couple of questions. Somebody asked, how do you got something?
No, I was just trying to tell you to check your mic position. I'm getting some feedback somewhere, but keep on going. Just check your mic. That's all right. That's all right. But no, yeah. It's a lot of questions. I just, about meeting Jazz. I was curious to watch y'all this year, Vonzel, and because I haven't seen that what y'all did. I haven't seen it done here. Right, I haven't seen it done here of that magnitude. That two guys. Now we made the example of earlier Trauber, Stephen Trauber, and Hal Pastner merging, and Jimmy, you had another couple, but two African American guys in position of power. That's what I love about it. Y'all had. Think about it. I sit down and talk to guys sometime, and just us in the room, and then and all of us are decision makers. And all the time, we always went in position, these positions, Vonzel. You wasn't always in this position. Somebody else had that position. But right. I'm sitting here watching. I can't wait to see what the future holds. Because now and I hate that this summer wasn't able to come in fruition. But, I hate to see what could have happened. But it's just unique that you two guys, I mean, I've been thinking about it today, and just because I know you guys, but I don't know you. I haven't sat down and ate dinner with you, but I look forward to it in the future because I like being around people who sit in a room and say, "Man, what are we doing?" Yeah. Instead of there's a lot of people can tell you the reasons you don't want to do it, and you can't. Y'all sit there and say, "Dude, ain't nobody telling us." That's what I love about this show. You follow me?
Yeah.
This is what I love about this show. We ain't got to go to no board meeting.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody gonna call us from upstairs trying to tell us what to do.
Yeah.
It's just two guys that control our own destiny. And we said, man, let's make this thing work. So that's my thing, which I don't know what your mindset was, but I am so proud of you and Jazzy. And you can comment on that if you want to.
Yeah, when you don't know somebody, kind of like what you said, when you don't know them, like prior going into this situation, and I'm pretty sure Jazz felt the same way. We competed against each other at a very high level, a lot of times. And
who won the most?
Jazz got us the last two times. Jazz got us. Jazz beat us the last two times, man. Yeah, and actually, Jazz was They was our first loss of the season last year. Yeah, right before July period, they beat us, and then obviously Compton Magic beat us in Alabama, and then we ended up beating Compton Magic to win it all in the finale. But we had some fierce games. Going back to when Marcus Smart that year in the second year we won it, the back-to-back year. That game right there with Urban DFW in that back gym in Vegas at Coronado High School was probably the most hostile game I ever seen. Had police. They had to bring police in all around the court, man. It was so heated.
Man, what y'all was doing, man?
It was just competing. We were just competing, man. Hey, it was two teams from DFW in the Sweet 16 game. and it was a hostile environment. And but you know, I had my opinions, or not opinions. Like, I'm the type of person that you can't really just keep telling me something about somebody. I got to know for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I hate you because somebody else hates you. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go sit down with Jazz. So me and Jazz sat down, and I learned a lot about him, a lot about him as a person, who he is, and it made the transition easy. Like, you realize a lot of times when you just take a little bit of time and just sit down with somebody, sometimes excuse my French, a lot of the stuff you hear is, you know, not true.
Hold on there. I had to throw that one in there, Doc. That was great. That was awesome. Let me tell you something. It's some people on this Facebook feed and gonna hear this later, need to listen to that and adhere to it. Great job, young man. What you got, Jimmy?
Yeah, I got a couple of questions. Somebody asked, what's the difference between Three Stripes League and Adidas Gold? Are they both sponsored, or did Gold just take over the silver division?
Now, yes. Well, that last part. Actually, 3SSB is the top circuit. That's it's only 28 teams that's funded. They get the funding and gear, and then the Gold basically is basically a gear budget. That's the difference between the two. But their play is different. It's different venues.
Different venues.
Well, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's a possibility for the Gold to come play. Like, it's kind of like Adidas gave everybody something to play for. Gave you something to play for. Top 28, and say you finish bottom 4.
Okay.
That top 4, that Gold, getting them deals next year.
So they're going to get those deals next year.
Oh.
You got something to play for.
So
like
that means automatically,
yeah,
if you're in the bottom 4 as it stands, you will not return if you're the bottom 4.
Yes. So
okay.
Let's say if you silver, say you pay silver, you know, you pay your way in, you do everything. You have to pay for everything. Well, say you win it. You one of them top 4 teams in silver. Well, you're gonna replace those gear budget teams and Gold that finished last 4.
Okay, see what you're saying. So it's going to work both ways. Now, here's the question to you. Once upon a time, I remember that one of the other circuits, I think the Nike circuit, had a similar protocol, but a protocol as far as numbers for qualifying for Peace Jam. Well, all of a sudden, when Bagley team didn't win but 2 games, the rules changed.
No, Jimmy, I asked about that. I asked somebody from the top. They said a rule already has been in there, Bunzel. They said the rule is like Nike got 2, I think he said 2 slots that they reserve to have whoever the hell they want. They said it just like that. Whoever the hell they want, they got 2 wild cards. That rule been in there. Whoever they want to, they can put a baboon and his crew in there if they want to. That what was told to me.
So guess what? My question with that is to Bunzel. Do you think if Imani Bates said tomorrow, his daddy say, I'm gonna come over to Adidas and we're gonna play our age group like they play their age group with Nike. We're gonna play our age group with y'all, and they don't finish and they're gonna play the Gold. I'm sorry. Or they gonna play in the main one this year or whatever. And they come in the last 4. He'll be a senior the following summer. What do you think Adidas gonna do?
Hey, no, they ain't gonna do it. Hey, I'm with you on that. They not gonna.
So you saying Adidas won't do it?
You damn right they won't.
I'm saying, like, you know, a kid like Armani Bates. Like, I've never seen the kid play anything. I just hear everything about him. But if he is what everybody say he is, they'll probably do the same thing Nike did with Marvin Bagley. Like, he's still, they gonna stay up there on the top level.
That was, I mean, it's just funny, but I'm not making mockery of any of it. I just noticed how rules, sometimes when you make those rules the rules ain't meant for everybody. Remember,
Yeah,
the
you're
rules
right.
ain't meant for everybody.
Yeah,
And so now we go back to some of the other questions, you guys, and I'm saying you guys keep the questions coming. And somebody also asked, are you guys under the umbrella of the assault programs from out of Prince George County, the DC assault and all
no,
that? Are y'all
no. When in 2010 and 2011, we were Texas assault. We were Texas assault with Marcus Smart now and Phil Forte and Clark out of that whole group, and we were under the DC assault umbrella. But the whole kicker to that, we were under their umbrella, but with the brand itself, we wasn't respected under the umbrella. And what I mean by that is that we won back to back, but we wasn't in Super Pools. We had to win our way up. We had to win our way up those and win it out, and then beat all the sponsor shoe teams, because we was pretty much funding ourselves then. For Texas assault, and now like I said, when this whole situation came up, me, Jazz and I got together, a former name of mine, and with Urban DFW. We were just, Southern, and we just talked about it, say Southern Assault. It's just, let's roll with it. Like, we not under that umbrella, but that's not a bad thing to, that was a hell of a program. DC Assault, a heck of a program, and a nationally known program.
I got something for you. The pandemic. What are y'all doing now, man? What's going on? I know you can't do too much, but think about this. You had this big anticipated season, this historic, to me, historic merger.
Yes.
And now we can't play no games right now. What the kids been saying? I know y'all been in group chats. What they been talking about? What they been talking about, man?
Actually, since they're saying now, I don't know what it's like in Houston. They'll be going around the same, man. But we'll probably be able to get back to playing by mid-June, and like if possible, with all the precautions, if we're able to, we're going to kick off the season in a Big E event in the Dallas Showtime Classic, June 19th through 21st.
Okay.
Juneteenth.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll kick it off then. And then obviously the Great American Shootouts and everybody putting schedules out, but that's good that they all putting schedules out, because it give everybody hope, and you kind of get an ideal of a schedule you can put together, possibly if it's able to go through. So everybody's itching to play, and I send a message out to all our parents, and they all said straight up, hey, if an event director is able to host an event, we're playing. Rolling.
Go on, Jimmy.
That's a good thing. I mean, I had on yesterday, there was a parent that did a poll, and they have different groups on Facebook, and this one parent did a poll of within that group of or if the event starting in July, would you allow your child to go and play? And it was unanimous that the parents said that they would let their kids go and play. And I mean, it was like I'm in the middle of the road on it. It doesn't matter to me either way. And I'm an event operator. I'm good. So I don't care in regards to that much. Don't care that much. Put it like that. You do it or don't. Good. But for other people, it's going to be a lot of changes. Earlier this week, we had event facility directors and owners join us on the Chop Shop, and they provided some stipulations that they are going to have in their house rules, but that's in Greater Houston. What are you hearing that are some of the changes that people should expect up in the DFW area?
Well, I'm hearing right now, all parents, what they're looking at is all parents wearing masks. Well, the parents that attend, it's going to be limited.
Okay.
Parents have to wear masks. Players have to wear masks to the court, and then once they're on the court, then they're able to play. But I don't know if you guys know this. Oklahoma is like 3 weekends in AAU. They've been playing tournaments.
In Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Yeah.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, they already playing.
And what are you hearing? Some of the things. How is it going so far?
Yeah, they said it's going. They said it went well. They said it went well. It just they just limited the fan capacity.
Hey man,
They limited. But see, at the end of the day, and then also I know the director side of it hosting the event. You don't want to host an event and lose money.
yeah, yeah. So, Vonzel, help me out. That man, you just. I've been thinking about that. Okay, I've been thinking about the event operators, man. These guys gonna spend their time and their money and their resources to have an event. Now you're gonna pay them your fee and all that, but these guys are not gonna be able to. I mean, these guys gonna be working pro bono. Are you gonna be? I mean, for real. In other words, if it's a guy doing an event, y'all, he's doing y'all a great favor, mamas and daddies. Let's get that right. Yeah, y'all was talking about well, they just want
Unless,
huh? Okay.
Unless, Helen, unless the price is increased of admission and entry.
But
Unless,
Jimmy, look how much of a price increase that would. What you gonna charge the people $100 to get in?
no, you have to do that. It don't equate to that. You're gonna basically to host an event. You're gonna have to get a couple of extra personnel that you're gonna pay to perform certain tasks, sanitary tasks.
I'm talking about the number of fans. Can't no but mamas and daddies come in, Jimmy. It ain't that many mamas and daddies. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I just say so. I mean, what I'm saying is that means some people will increase their team registration fee, Adam. And follow me. The number's going to balance itself out. Trust me, guys. Everybody got a calculator on their phone. Every event wasn't packed to capacity.
Yeah.
You follow me?
Yes, I'm not an event. Okay. Y'all educate me.
Because at the end of the day, you have the facility, the cost of facility, referees, scoreboard. Now you got to go there's somebody checking temperatures, making sure, sanitizer stations stand full. There's a lot behind it now. Like, so, and then you look at it, leave for scorekeepers, you're paying $10, $15 a game for each person that's doing it, whatever to get in. It's a lot behind it. A lot of people do complain about the price at the door.
Yep.
Know about the stuff behind the scenes that director had to do to get all this stuff to make it happen.
And Jimmy, my fault. You must have misunderstood me. I'm talking about, I heard him talk about camp, but the parents come in and the parents had on masks. So it's not going to be that much parents. So you just adding to me and say, look here, man, we're going to figure out a way. So guess what? So let's say this. So let's say this tournament cost. I'm a parent. I'm a phone.
I know what you're saying.
This tournament.
$30 to get in.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, Vonzel. Wait a minute. Hey, I ain't gonna be able to buy no champagne. I ain't gonna be able to campaign. I ain't gonna be able to go to the Steak 48. Especially what if I got 2 kids or 3 kids?
Yeah, you're right.
And hold up, Vonzel. Hold on. Let me help you out. I got laid off. My cousin laid off. They borrowing money from me. Hey, y'all. We got to pray. Listen, man. I want these kids to play. Because let me tell you something. They driving me crazy. Because guess what? They around here sneaking and playing anyway.
Yeah, they playing anyway.
They just smart. Guess what they doing? They smart and not posting it. But they around here balling now. You feel me?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just Jimmy. I didn't know. So this is what I meant, Vonzel. Let's say it's normal. I don't know. Let's say it's normally $300 to get in tournament. Let's do the round number, right?
Per team,
right? So Vonzel, I sit there and say, hold on, 300. So I got to add it. So I got to add how many people that I think I want to charge for. So I'm gonna charge you 500 or 600. For me to get my break, dude.
Hey, I'm gonna
These
tell you, Hicks can tell you this. It's so much work, man, hosting an event. And then if you get down at the end of the table at the end of the day and you made $200, you're gonna be like, yeah, that ain't worth it. It ain't worth it.
dude. I see how hard that man go into every tournament, especially a big tournament. He go into I don't know, a tizzy. Guess what? Everything on the chop shop, everybody and guess what? Doing all them times Jimmy was doing that, we still maintained the chop shop. He still did his magazine. He still did it. I am thinking about the event operators now. I've never thought about y'all. I'm sorry, Jimmy. Cause I don't get in y'all business. You know how people get in people business. I ain't never tried to get no tournament. I don't want to. Listen, I'm one guy who's not trying to be like y'all. I take my hat off to you, Bunzel, and guess what? I'm gonna cheer you on if you need some help. I'm gonna cheer Jimmy on when he needs some help. But y'all guys, if y'all gonna do this time, y'all really not doing it. Y'all doing it for the people.
Somebody got to take that first step.
Y'all doing it for the people, man. These people can get mad at y'all. You know, man, he trying to do a tournament. Dude, these kids around here playing anyway.
Yeah.
Your little kid, he playing anyway. Ain't washing his hand and coming back in and putting his hand in your pot.
Yep. You're right. 100% right.
I'm sorry for telling it on everybody. I'm sorry. Come on, Jim.
I get in another day right now.
Okay, my bad. Come on, Bunzel. I'm sorry, man.
So tell us about the Southern and the South, man. What you mentioned a couple of the players, but people that don't really know and understand, your 17U. First of all, how many teams will you guys field with the Southern and the South? And on the 17U, once again, tell us about your top 3 or so players, or 3 to 5 players that are the marquee names.
Well, the marquee name. Well, right now we have five Southern South teams. I was at the top 15, 16, 17s, and then the second 17s and 16s.
So you got 2 at the top each one.
No. We have 17U, 16U, and 15U, the top Adidas teams.
Yeah.
And we have a second team that basically be playing local or something like that, 17 to 16s. So that we have 5, but on that 17U, as far as names that would be known, that the Damon Nicholas, Harrison Ingram, Wade Taylor, Chris Morgan.
Whoa. Harrison Ingram on your team?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Keep talking.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And we have pickup. We got kid Mason Gibson and Eli Stevens. Eli, man, probably one of the most electric guards you'll see out of Waco. Really good kid, really good family. Like I said, we have some really special because the chemistry is there, and with the chemistry, I feel if we was able to play this year, I feel, and I know Jazz also, what we would have done is what we expected already.
It's a great way to look at it.
I'll tell you one thing. I just wrote down a name, Eli Stevens. I can't wait to go watch. When you tell me somebody electric, I'm going to watch.
Ask Yates. Ask Houston Yates.
Who he played for?
He played. No. Yates beat him. But that's the little guard from Waco that I think he had 32.
Had 32 on Yates?
Yeah. That was
the first.
That was down there. I didn't go to that to the regional.
It was a regional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a real fast electric guard that they. But he's been with the program since probably 5th grade, 5th, 6th grade.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so now, of course, your event, the first event will be mid-June. And how deep? What are you guys prepared to do? When are you prepared? Are you prepared to go all the way into if the NCAA allows August and/or September to be live?
Yes.
Or you guys, and understand something, because it's not. We're just speculating right now. What happens if the high schools decide to play their teams, in some of the events. How are you guys? What's your stance on that?
Well, we're going to play it. I feel we're going to all play it. But from what I'm hearing, if this is true, Hicks and Rob,
yeah,
they saying they're not clearing school events. It's grassroots. So if they clearing just grassroots, that kid ain't gonna play on their high school team for that weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be on the select level. So if we're able to play, but both levels is very important, high school and select. And as I respect all high school coaches, but if that's what the NCAA clear for kids to play grassroots for that weekend, for those live period weekends, that's what the kid have to do.
Hey, Coach, if I was a kid, I might want to play on your team. They say you got a private gym they can work out in. I might want to play on your team, Coach. What you got, Jim?
We working, man.
Yeah. Thank you, Stacy, for that information. Yeah.
What's that?
Stacy?
Yeah, Stacy just put that on the Facebook feed, man. Yeah. Stacy Houston. What you got, Jimmy?
Now, of course, speaking of mentioned Jazzy, we was hoping to be joined by Jazzy today as well. And but Jazzy earlier this year, I mean, he had been going through some things, and you guys are still was pushing forward with the program. That was unexpected. A lot of people now, he's up and healthy. Heard from him on yesterday from Jazzy, and had sent me stuff. He got a big article he sent me that was in one of the local publications up in the DFW, about a 5-page spread. So tell us, how does Jazzy do right now? And let the people know, what can they expect different from Jazzy? Because Jazzy, he's a little bit trimmer than he was beforehand.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, Jazz, now that he's healthy, man, Jazz is it was really good to, like, when he got out of his situation in the hospital and everything, him getting his health back, and first hearing him, laugh and everything like that. And we sat down laughing, and obviously going to visit him and stuff like that. He, like I said, that's another part of this whole situation that woke me up as far as how to look at things. But Jazzy, like I said, man, he's a hell of a person. And I know that in the future, we're going to be able to build something special and give our city, and I'm not going to just say city, state, because I'm real big on the state of Texas, give everybody something to be proud of.
That's good, because the rising, as you rise, all of us going to rise. The rising tide moves all the ships to the top. That's a good idea, Jimmy. What else you got, Jim?
Indeed, man. We got 5 minutes left. What advice do you give for us getting a deal for people out there with programs that are inspiring? And understand you had the luxury of the Marcus Smart role. And remember, there were times when you, during the Texas Assault days, and you probably was wondering, saying, man, we got this, we kicking butt, and how hard and what advice do you have for people so they can truly understand that it's not easy to get a sneaker sponsorship?
Yeah, it's actually it's a lot of luck behind it. Like I said, I was independent for 18 years. So being independent, and then, I finally got my chance, but my opportunity came, like I said, from luck, because there's a very slim chance of anybody making it to the NBA. And for Marcus to make it, and for him to call me, say, hey, Coach, I want you to run my program. But then, like I told you guys, 1 week before, that's what we found out we was in. And to this point, and you think about this, and I'm not afraid to say this at all. It was most of those years I was sponsored, not sponsored, but playing on the circuit.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting funding. I wasn't getting funded.
Right.
Like, funded by the brand.
Right. I got you.
I had other venues to help myself out, but I had to build my own personal resume in order to start getting the funding part of it. So it's not easy at all. And one thing, a lot of kids, everybody want to play on the shoe circuit. The shoe circuit not for everybody. And the independent, and to be honest, the independent is very good also. But when I say that, kind of like for Adidas, we have synergy. And that synergy goes to every coach in the country. And if your weaknesses is gonna get exposed. It tell you how many times you dribble right, how many times you dribble left. When you come off the screen, how many times you shoot it.
Whoa. Hold up. Y'all using synergy in summer basketball?
Yeah. That's what Adidas does. We use synergy. So it'll expose you. So you'll find out. Like, I can get on synergy right now and look at every one of our players' stats from last summer, and it'll tell me if he was very good, great, poor, at the very, or whatever, at every category you can think of in basketball. And I can click on that link and it showed me every time he did that to create that stat. So that's what I'm saying. So that exposes a lot of people, and sometimes that view right there will kill your opportunities with college coaches.
I'm finna make you laugh. James Harden go to the left every time, still can't nobody stop it. So you still gotta be able to stop it.
You're right. Hey, but I'm gonna say this, man. You gotta be able to shoot that ball.
Yeah.
You gotta be able to shoot that ball in order to make it work.
And indeed, I mean, now of course going down, get ready to land the plane, and of course, once again, this is Vonzell Thomas. He's with the Southern Assault program that's sponsored by Adidas. They were a merger between, of course, the YGC 36 program and the Urban DFW Elite. And Jazzy Hartwell is not able to be with us today. We were expecting him on the Chop Shop as well. But as you leave us, Vonzell, give us some parting words, a message that you have out there to describe the overall state of the basketball team in DFW.
In DFW, I'm gonna tell you this. Our media here. I'm talking about the media in DFW. I know you got good media. It's good media all over Texas, and in Houston and in DFW, San Antonio, Austin, and whatnot. But I'm gonna tell you, we have a lot of great guys here. Even from Two Circuit to Independent, with Big E and 3D Empire and TJ Texas Impact, Lone Star. We have some really good independent programs and shoot program. And everybody get along for the most part. And our media backs us very well.
And that's a great thing. That's a good thing to have. Just keep going on. And as far as keep pushing on through, and once you keep the relationship going, that's the essential thing. And we definitely appreciate it, man. I'm talking about Vonzell. Good to see you.
Good job, young fella. You did it by yourself, man. Come on.
One last thing.
Yeah.
Some quick advice.
Okay.
Don't let praise ruin kids.
Don't let praise ruin kids. Could you give us? Could you put it to us where the goats can get it?
Yeah, because you can be praised so much.
Mm-hmm.
You forget where you need to develop at, and you focus on just what you always praised about. Then that kid don't develop and get to where he need to go.
Don't let praise. I got to write that one down. Don't let praise.
Yeah, don't be saved by criticism.
I got you.
I like that. I like
that.
Just wrote that down. Vonzell,
man, you the man, man.
Thank
you, man. Hey, proud of you, Doc.
Thanks so much, man. Great job, man. And thumbs up to the Southern Assault program, guys. You guys can go to southernassaulthoops.com. That's their website, southernassaulthoops.com, for any more additional intel that is that you may need or seek from the program. As far as also you may be able to contact them, you'll see the contact bar on there as well. But appreciate it, Vonzell, man. Thanks so much.
I just need you to do one thing. When you leave, just push the red button.
All right.
Okay.
You good?
All right. Appreciate it, big fella.
And
man, that's good.
Thomas, man. I mean, it's good stuff. You know what it does? Yeah. The purpose is, guys, is to allow this platform to connect. You hear names, you may have seen faces, but you don't really know. So this is an opportunity to connect the personality, the fabric of a lot of these programs with you guys. So that means now, think about it, just last week, and one of the things that sticks with me is that we had head coach Leonard Hamilton on from Florida State last week. And during the show, there was a guy that was watching, and wasn't a regular. And he came and he posted in the Boom Boom Room with you guys that are watching. He says that, man, all these years, I watched Coach Hamilton, and I always thought he was that angry black man. I thought he was always pissed at something. And that was just his game face. And he sees that he's really passionate about what he's doing. And that helps the person receive it better. And that's what we're doing right now. Of course, now coming up next, we're gonna bring it back down to H-Town, and we're gonna give you guys an Under Armour sponsored program today, and that is the Houston Defenders. And the Houston Defenders have been around for more than a decade now. And they've been getting around and kicking butt and taking names and producing. Speaking of guys that were not relatively known coming into their program, they produced a couple of those in the NBA who are still in the NBA right now. And so without further ado, right on cue, we're going to have joining us right now is
who we got?
Aaron Harrison and Larry Sowers.
Okay.
Of the Houston Defenders.
Look at
them. I'm talking about, hey, guys, this baby Friday, but Aaron Harrison, he's going to come in and man you now, he's going to be suited and booted with the tailor made, with the blue threads up there. And check him out now. And of course, Larry's got his, he representing. And I know one thing. The people in Maryland gonna send an email down there and say, "Man, guess what, Larry? You can come to the other party when grassroots resume." You guys know it's always two parties. It's a party for those coaches, and it's a party where the people making decisions that go to. Larry gonna get on the other party. You know what I'm talking about, Aaron Harrison. He gonna go with that. But anyway, Houston Defenders, guys, welcome to the Chop Shop today. What's going on?
How you doing, Jimmy?
What's up, gentlemen?
Yeah, man. So, man, tell us a little bit about the Houston Defender program. When did it start, and how did you come up with the name?
Well, the Houston Defenders, I think 2004 would be our first year at the Houston Defenders. And there was a guy around town who had like a single team. His name was Terry Bembry.
Terry Bembry.
Terry?
Yeah.
Terry, he had a team with his son on. I knew Terry through another guy who coached with me, who started the Defenders with me, Chris Crawford. And he had an older team. He said, man, we're going to make a younger team and just put a team together, and we did that. And that's how they got started.
Wow.
And so then what was the vision? Of course, most people just get a team together, as Terry Bembry was. He was a parent that was probably pissed off wherever his son was playing at before.
Well, the start of it was it was a small game in town. A couple guys were allowing kids to play, and it wasn't expanded. So, just me and Chris put our own money together and started a team, and we had kids on the team, right? And so with those kids, we just made a team, and it grew. And every year the team got better, got more and more kids. As they got older, the vision changed because we had some kids that didn't have the opportunities that our own kids had. And so we had them with us, and we just tried to make opportunity for them. And so that's how the program has grown in that vision. A lot of kids that don't have the opportunities, they work as hard. They haven't been on the stage yet. We love those kids, the ones that are grinding, trying to get there.
Right.
We love those kids, give them the opportunity, and they grow from there.
And of course, now you came and eventually you ended up incorporating, you had, like all grassroots programs,
right.
They come and go, and, with different personnel, the volunteers is hard. How hard is it to find volunteer coaches? Or is it pretty much people knocking down your door saying, I want to be down?
Well, you got people knocking down your door, but what's the motive, right? What's the motive in it all, right? You got a lot of guys who do this, to help kids out. And I don't know if people know, and this is going to be a shock to some people. It used to be a really tough rival of mine. He's joined with me. I'm really happy about this. How do you put your head down? Keith White.
Wow.
Part of the Houston
Right.
Defenders.
That's
Yeah,
good, man.
that's really good. I'm really excited about that. So guys like that who have the same motive keeps just helping kids. He ain't making a cent. He spend his own money,
Right.
right? He ain't making. He just helping kids out. So that's how our program goes. I mean, and those kind of guys come, and you get the other guys that they're geniuses and they know more than you. They're gonna reinvent the wheel, and you just go past them. You see them come, you see them go. It happens like that.
And that guy right on the side of you, Larry, what attracted you about the Houston Defenders? And tell us about what program were you with before then, and what year did you join the Defender train?
I had my own program called Sci-Fair Hoops, and we were basically based out of the Sci-Fair area. We had a group of kids, with Big Eddie and all them guys that it just started off with really 3 or 4 guys, and I just kept them all together. And around, I think it was about 6th or 7th grade, Eddie grew by 5 inches. We already had a couple of long dudes on there. And I remember I called you and you told me, I said, man, Mr. Hicks, man, I don't know what to do. I got these guys. I think they pretty good. He said, you ain't got to do nothing. If they good, they'll come and find you. And so, we just kind of kept hanging around. We got to, when they got to 8th grade, I had a whole program. I had like 16 teams, and grassroots was kind of starting to change at the time. The model was changing a little bit, and we had I talked, I dealt with Coach Henderson and a lot of the older guys in the game, Rick Nelson, Lamar Holt, Clyde Jackson, all of them, they kind of helped me with coming up. I was like, man, I got this little young group. They real good. All of us young coaches, we real hype about our young groups. And that was always the main statement to everybody was like, man, that's just the little young pups, the young pups, man. They just puppies right now. My thing was, well, man, one day the young pups will be the big pups. You know what I mean? So somebody got to get in on them, early. And nobody was at first, and then it kind of started to change. And I think it was kind of BU was one of the first ones that really kind of tried to do full-scale programs, and I'll never forget the first day I met with Coach Aaron, and, we sat at Chili's that day. Marcus Sloan actually brought me to the meeting, we came and met, and he was like, I don't want nothing to do with your teams or anything like that. I'm not trying to take over your team. You coach your teams. We got out, the older kids, and once you get to high school, you can coach your team and everything, because everybody else from then on was like, oh, the same spiel. Oh, man, you got some good players. We may take this kid and that kid, and I was like one of them people. I want all my kids to come, and now that I've been in this a little while, like I heard y'all talking about it earlier, you figure out that the circuit ain't for everybody. But I was one of the ones who wanted to show everybody different, so I refused to cut any of my kids. And Aaron was like, hey man, you coach your team, you do what you got to do, So we got around. He never tried to step on my toes, never told me what I could and couldn't do. He let me do his thing, and I ain't never tried to bother him. And we just kind of kept it together, and that group, ended up being a pretty good group, the 2020 group. We didn't keep everybody, but from what we had on 15s, we probably had 6 of them made it all the way through here, and that's kind of how we've been doing with the program moving forward. Unlike most other organizations, they may try to, rebuild the team at 17s and stuff. Like the last 3-4 years, Aaron, from 15s to 17s, we'll at least have had the core, 6 to 7 that was holdovers from, even from as far as 8th grade, So we kind of, like Aaron say, we don't go look for the best kid. We coach them up. A lot of people think that we don't, but we do. We got Keith White right now, which is a great addition, for our bigs. You don't get no better than Keith White if you need somebody to work with a big, And so, we had a bunch of good big time head coaches. Mike Jackson was with us for a long time. Julius Jackson coached with us. Ken Stevens over there at Decaney. We've had a lot of coaches that really here just volunteering their time. They don't have to. Most of them didn't have kids involved in anything. It was just there volunteering their time. And so that's kind of what we built our organization on. And Aaron kind of got that satellite for it. Like, hey, man, I don't know if this dude is, the right fit for us. So we've been rocking with him ever since.
Now, of course, Aaron, I was thinking, of course, have you ever seen a team? Now, you mentioned, Larry, that about 6 of those players from the 15U team ended up still retain themselves as 17U. And I was telling Hal, I've told him several times, hey, Hal, I've been in this thing 20 years. And at the high level, I haven't seen a team that I can remember that was the same team, 15U, 17U. On the high level. Now you guys, I ain't talking about the Circle K All-Stars,
right?
But now that's just me. Now I'm gonna ask you, Harrison, can you think of a team that retained the same team that was 15U and they made no transactions and still on the sneaker level?
Well, as far as the original team that we had, and we had some graduate that was on that original team. They played together since 8th grade. And then we had like maybe one or two ads the year after that. The last year we added Jonathan Motley.
That's a big ad.
That's a big ad. But we lost Shaquille Clear the year before that. Shaquille Clear was the year before that. So, I mean, that's an ad. You know, we had to add. We didn't have enough players at that point. But we don't have any. That team, they went all the way through together. Most of them guys did.
Yeah, and so now, of course, I mentioned earlier, ironically, we was talking about how teams, the consolidation sometimes of programs, as we just learned, the Sci-Fair Elite, that's what they were called, right, Larry?
Yes, Sci-Fair Hoops.
Sci-Fair Hoops, I'm sorry about that. And that was a consolidation of your program with the already funded Houston Defenders. And a lot of programs, that's not the only consolidation that you did along the way. To share some of the other programs that you pretty much just engulfed or encompassed 2 or 3 more of their teams up under your umbrella.
I wouldn't even say engulfed or encompassed. Like, we have like an open door policy. We try to give everybody a chance if it's possible. You know, we don't try. What is the Rights Warriors? Remember the DJ Anderson Rights Warriors?
Yeah.
Who else am I missing, Larry? There's somebody else that I'm missing.
Most recently we got a really good guy actually. John Carswell brought his organization Sci-Fair Kings over, and he actually is a really, really good guy. And he has helped, like, he's taken a lot off of me, you know. Aaron don't help me with the younger kids. You know what I'm saying? So John then came over and he stepped up and took a lot. We actually had an organization out of Dallas, the younger group. They ended up being our DFW Defenders, but I mean, you know how it is. They jump ship the next year. You know, we've had some organizations. We got the Austin Defenders. They got some really good groups. You know, I forgot what they were before.
Austin Defenders before.
I don't remember the name. And remember, and also we got the team out of Beaumont. Remember, you know. Deal came over.
Yes, with Deal.
Yeah, and then, you know, Don came with the Right Warriors with DJ, but that's another group too. And so, I mean, pretty good from there. And I'm sure it's somebody that we missing in that gym, but it's a lot. And we operate in a different way. And Larry tell you, like, Larry's the guy who's probably been with me the longest of any guys that have come. And it's simply because the first thing you gotta know is you're not going to make money in grassroots basketball. If you helping kids, you helping kids.
Hold on, Aaron. I got something for you. Hold on. Okay, now you can proceed.
All right. You're not going to make money in grassroots basketball. You're helping kids. And if that's not your first motive, it just doesn't work. I mean, people that do different businesses, you know, there are other teams that they run, you know, big tournaments. They make money doing that, but actually helping kids. And if you got good players, your players are not paying to play on the team. So you're not going to make money. You gotta be in your heart to help kids to do it with us. If you're not doing it that way, it's not going to work.
And thank you for that, Mr. Harrison. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to word this, because that was key what you said. So your advice would be for aspiring people who trying to get in this thing. Hey man, if you coming in here think you about to get a lick, it's not gonna happen.
Your pocket's gonna be hurting really bad
because you're gonna be giving. Believe you me, I know how much doesn't come out somebody's pocket. So let me tell you something. It is so unique that people think this is a I don't know. I think Jimmy gives the air. You know, people look at Jimmy and sometimes say, "What? That's what I want to be." But if y'all notice, Jimmy ain't got no team. Jimmy ain't got no team, and I know for a fact. And Aaron, I cannot believe, man. I am surprised you stayed in this thing for this long. That showed me something about you, cause guess what? Your baby's gone.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
boy's gone doing whatever the hell they want to do. And most people thought you would just, okay, all right, forget it. But you stayed the course, man. And I watched it, and I mean, I sit here and marvel at it. And then and look what you did. You reached down and got a next generation sitting there next to you, and you empowered him. You told him, look, man, you want to play with them June bugs? That's your monster. You got to stay down there. I call June bugs, y'all, the young people team. And now, Aaron, you done empowered a next generation in Larry that whenever you just said, man, okay, I know Robert finna go on this island and somewhere and play golf in a couple of years. You can come down there and join me. So I mean, I would like to send out a edit to all the people out there. Let's in this grassroots community. Let's bring on the young guys. Jeff Webster doing it up there, and let's bring on our next generation. I'm looking for Larry. I'm looking for the next guy who's gonna commit himself to come and sit here. Wait, me and Jimmy is. I'm gonna repeat. We're not gonna do this forever. So our job. Thank you, Aaron Harrison, for grooming a Larry to take over. And so I just, I wasn't saying much because y'all are the grassroots experts, but I see that principle in y'all, and I just wanted to I want to highlight it to people because people might not look at that. They just, they got the defenders. No, this man training a young guy. He's a learner under discipline. That's all a disciple is, a learner under discipline. And he gonna learn how to run this program when Aaron Harris said, man, I'm going vacation somewhere. But I just wanted to stay there. Y'all can comment on that at all if you want to.
Oh, I mean, you got to find somebody. And I've been through a lot of guys.
Okay.
And a lot of guys think like they can reinvent the wheel. They can do it different than you can do it, and it'll work. And it doesn't work that way. But in Larry, Larry's as low as they come, right?
Gotcha.
If I need Larry in the middle of the night, I know I can call him. He coming, and it's vice versa. But it's tough to find people. Like it's tough to find a friend, right?
That's great.
So and he in it for the right reason.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that was what my main thing with Aaron is, because I dealt with a lot of guys. I had a few pieces that people wanted, and they just wanted pieces. But like Aaron really took me under his wing. He never tried I had people literally try to stab me in my back, trying to call my parents. Everybody kind of know the relationship with me and Eddie, and people would try to call his mom and stuff like that. I ain't never dealt with Aaron for that. He ain't never even asked for Vanessa's phone number.
Wow.
Hey man, that's your guy. You deal with him, all the guys. He doesn't do that. We kind of we know our lanes. I know what. I never tried to say this is my program, this is his program. I understand where I sit in the pecking order. I play my role, he plays his role, and it works. And believe me, if people know me and they know Aaron, we do not always agree. We cuss each other out, we fight, but
hey, Larry, I know him.
Can do that.
Larry, I know that guy. I know him. I believe you me. Hey, Larry, let me tell you what's so unique. You know what I want to ask you? Why is it? What is the greatest lesson you learned from being under Coach Harris? What's the greatest lesson you learned?
One of the things that I've learned about with Aaron with this is that, because he went through it probably on a way bigger scale than I did. I get my emotions attached to a lot of these kids and the parents and stuff. And you'll have your heart broken with these parents and these kids, because at the end of the day, you got to realize that it's their kids. They're going to always make the best decision for them, and Coming up in this, and I always tell people, like, we have a lot of young coaches that I like, same thing that Aaron has done with me. I try to empower them so they don't go through the same mistakes that I've been through. I tell them, like, hey, man, like, this may be the easier, right? Everybody wants to go out and figure it out on their own. But, like, I mean, my feelings was hurt. And Jimmy will tell you, and Doug Jones will tell you, I'm texting them when I was 7th and 8th grade, like, hey, man, I'm about to lose this kid, man. What can I do? Every time my phone rung after 10 o'clock, I was scared to look at it. Hey, I'm about to lose this kid. But now, as I've been in this a little bit longer, I start to see, man, they're going to come and go. Because like a lot of people, like, the Martin Lowe's and the Rick Nelsons of the world, I watch their demeanor and Aaron, like, they all kind of similar in the same way because they'd have been through it. Like, right. My feelings really used to get hurt about losing a kid. Hey, man, your feelings be hurt a lot in this business.
Hey, the guy on the screen next to you, he gave me a good lesson. Jimmy gave me a good lesson because the mama called him and said, if you ever see me on that team again, you put your foot up in my ass. After mama told Jimmy called me. I said, what? Jimmy told me, said, hey, man, these ain't your kids, Doc. If you can get 1 year out of these ungrateful Negroes, you're doing a great service. The man said, if you can get 1 year, Larry, when he told me that, I wiped my eyes and hold up, mind you, I've done more for that parent than any other parent in AAU history.
That'll be the ones. That will be the ones.
And it's unbelievable what happens. But Larry, Coach, for some reason, people want to ask some questions of y'all, and I got a couple. If Jimmy, do you see one? But I got one, Coach. I think this for Coach Harrison. Somebody said it's a lawyer was saying he had to settle a dispute. Mr. Harris, check this out. He's a lawyer, Shannon Holmes. He said, Mr. Hatter, I just resolved a legal dispute between an AAU team and a family regarding payments, despite the inability of teams to practice and play. Wow. What is the consensus of the teams regarding payments during the pandemic? That's a great question, Shannon. Thank you. Say, hey, y'all, we got lawyers watch this show. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Well, I think, like, it's the times. You can't take people's money if you're not providing the service.
Right.
You got to give them the money back. Like, what are we talking about? You want to take the money and keep it?
Yeah, like, as soon as we weren't able to practice, we don't, like, Aaron don't deal with the younger kids and stuff, but, like, as soon as we weren't able to practice, okay, no payments until we find out, if we can or can't. Like, we ain't never had that issue. Like, we never had any issues with that kind of stuff.
Okay. Jimmy, I know you got one.
Oh, man, absolutely. So now, Aaron, share with us, you got your sneaker deal when you first, of course, you had the team already in place. You and Terry Bimber. Mm-hmm. Okay, eventually your sons, and this was a thing that, they're graduating in 2013, if I'm not mistaken, right? I think your sons,
yes.
2013. And they came along, and you heard this, they took the country by storm. Now, Larry, you were over with the Sci-Fi Hoops, at the time, and when this was going on, and not to a disdain at all, but then during this time, this was around about maybe 2009, 2010, about 10 years ago. That was one tournament, and that had taken place, and it was in Denver, Colorado. And I had convinced Hatter at the time. There was no chop shop back then.
There was no chop shop.
Yeah. I had convinced Hatter, I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna show you these young boys. They made it to the championship.
What the hell was I in Denver for?
The ski thing was going on at the same time.
Oh, I was skiing. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
You go there with the bougie folks. And so I say, hell, come on, I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna go over there and they play the kid they playing against. They playing against a team out of Indiana. Got a little guard named Yogi. And they've been talking smack all in the hotel room to these people. I'd say, come on, I need me some more. I need me an amplifier. I need me a Rockford Falls gate to put on my woofers. You sit on the side of me. Just follow me. These young people, they from your side of town. But at the same time, he knew the twins.
Yeah.
I was talking about the team as a whole. And we'll talk about that in a second, how Hannah actually has a pre-existing relationship from knowing Aaron Harrison. We'll talk about that shortly.
Yeah.
But in this time, I say, man, these twins, man, they getting in. So Hannah comes to the gym, meet me up. We get to the gym, and we sitting right there, front row. And ain't that many people from Houston there.
Yeah.
But this team from Indiana, which was probably driving this from Colorado, they had a posse. And Hannah, you remember what happened?
I talked so much stuff that day. I did. I mean, I know Aaron probably looked back and said, he cheering for us.
They saw you right across the bench.
In Houston against everybody. How they say it live? Everybody. I'm Houston against everybody.
Aaron, what you were saying? What was the feeling like seeing that kind of support?
Well, you gotta know, like, I'm from East Baltimore originally, and you don't always get along with your neighbors. But if somebody down the street got a problem with your neighbor, they got a problem with you.
Yes, sir.
That's how it was.
So that's how me and Harry, that's what I took in it from that.
I ain't gonna let nobody else mess with him. I might get it, but I ain't let nobody else mess with him.
Right. That's how I took it.
So you remember that game? Take us back to that game, that memory, Aaron, of that game, because that was a really intense game.
That team we played against, they were like, I think they were 2 years older than us. I think we were still 15s playing in 17 under that year. And they had
big old
they had 8 or 9 Division I high major players on that team. And we just so happened to be at the same hotel. Right?
Yeah.
And they had cameras following them. And then y'all know my favorite player, Derek Griffin.
Yes,
they
sir.
made Derek mad in the lobby. They made Derek mad in the lobby.
Uh-oh.
And so Derek told me he wasn't going to let them score no points. They were going to have 0 at the end of the game. So we had to break them up in the lobby. They was going after. They was going after them in the lobby. But those guys were like full-grown men. I mean, they really 17, 18, and I had 9th graders. Actually, the only 2 10th graders I had was Shaq and Clyde Santee, the only 2 that I had.
That's right.
Right. So, and Christian Sanders. I had Christian Sanders. Yeah, I had Christian Sanders.
You had one on you. One guy with a lighter hue on your team.
I'll start that.
As a matter of fact, Christian killed in that game too. He had a great game that game.
Yeah.
He had a great game. But no, that was a big time atmosphere.
Yeah.
That game was tremendous. We had a great time. It's always better when you win.
Yeah. And Derek Griffin was I don't know what he told you that night, Coach. He was a monster in that game.
He was a monster.
Yeah, indeed. That same team, a summer or 2 later, you guys were fortunate enough to, I think, be part of one of the first live televised games, grassroots games on the ESPN network.
Yeah.
You guys went and I think people were talking about it the other day about how you put together a tournament, a true way of defining the real champion. But anyway, you guys got in Orlando, Florida. You got a chance to play against one or two of the Nike teams in a televised game. Mm-hmm. And how did that transpire, and what did that do for your program as far as visibility?
Actually, that was probably the turning point, really, of grassroots basketball. It was one of the first televised AU games on ESPN, and they were touting the first game was against DC Takeover. No, Takeover.
Takeover?
Oh. No, we played Boo Williams, then Takeover, and in the championship we played Noel and the guy that what's the kid name that went to Iowa State?
ABC.
Yes, them. And we won all 3 of those games, but that was big time because we were a year younger than them too at that point.
Wow.
I mean, and so now, Larry, I want to ask you something.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm always a numbers guy. So we're gonna give you just throw a number as a set a bar for over and under.
Okay.
Now, once again, what year did you join the Houston Defenders?
2015.
2015. This summer don't count. So it's 15, 16, 17, 18. That's 5 summers. In 5 summers, what's the over and under of how many technical fouls Aaron Harrison?
Now, I will tell you, last summer he did really, really well.
What?
He actually did really well. I was really proud of him. But I'm gonna tell you one thing: my kids love to watch him coach. They sit across.
Me too.
They come home and look. They do the little dances when he running down the sideline. Dad, did you see Coach Aaron do that? I was like, yes, I see it all the time. Yes, we've been telling them for the longest that we probably could have been making some money. We should have had a camera follow him around forever. He would have been the best reality TV show ever.
Y'all know what though? You know what about Aaron? I'm glad you said he gonna get that one tech, but his ass ain't getting that second one.
He ain't gonna get the other.
I be saying, wait, he know what the hell he be doing.
Unless he just don't want to play the game no more. Then it's time to go home. It's time to go home.
Yeah.
I'm fighting for my kids. What are y'all talking about? I'm fighting. And when I say my kids, I'm not talking about my kids. I'm talking about everybody who wear gold and black.
Right.
Fighting for them. Trying to get the biggest advantage as possible.
Speaking of fighting in a comical sense, one of the viewers heard Baker says, ask you how about describe the first time that y'all met.
Now you're always trying to fight.
Listen to me. Y'all, all right, we on the air.
No, we don't have to talk about that.
You don't want to know that.
No, we don't want to talk about that.
Now let's go back, as I promised you guys, a story of the pre-existing relationship between Aaron Harrison and Robert Haller. And this may be a first for you, Larry, as well. So
I heard this one from both of them. I heard it from both of them.
It's so unique. Hey, our kids been playing against each other since they used to play football against each other, right?
Yep.
6 or 7 years old.
6 or 7 years old. And my son, bless his little heart, he's a little bitty thing. He said, Daddy, I can get away from one of them, but then the other one come and catch me. He said, I can't. And then they got Derek Grip. He always said, and you know what I liked about him? You know, because they grew up playing. I said, dude, you better, because I thought about one time, Aaron, we had talked about coming over there and play. Robert said, Dad, how in the hell I'm going to fit in that equation? Both of them got the ball, and I want the ball. That's not going to be good. He said, I'll stay over here and play on my little old team. And so, but guess what? The defenders always was winning. And we was always coming in second. I said, all right now. I said, but he always wanted to play against the best. And that's what I always said. He said, Daddy, they the best. I want to play against them. And that's how he always felt about it.
So now in football, I want to ask you this. That was a story that when they were playing flag football, football at the younger age, that they had a weight restriction for the running backs.
Oh, hold up. Listen to me.
I'm just asking a question. Is that true? Did they have a weight restriction?
No. They got a weight restriction.
It was flag football, too.
Flag football.
And they were not 6 or 7.
Right.
They were 5 then.
They were little.
They were 5 years old.
Explain to us what took place and what was the weight restriction.
Okay. Here's what we do then. So Aaron and Andrew couldn't run the ball unless it was fumbled. So we hiked the ball and put it on the ground and let them pick it up and go.
Hey, man. Couldn't nobody catch them dudes, man.
Hey.
They were big and fast. Huh? They were big and fast, man. That was the funny. Let me tell y'all something. I said, I looked over at him. I said, that is genius. Who thinks of that?
So did anybody try to contest it?
No, yes. You couldn't.
It was a fumble. They tried to contest it in the first game. And I said, listen, we fumbling the ball. So we would fumble the ball backwards. One of them would pick it up, and then we run
it. So, Larry, did you know about this story?
Yeah, I know about it. That's Aaron for you, boy. That's Aaron for you.
So now, of course, with the Houston Defenders program, tell us about some of the alumni of the program and what they're doing now.
Man, there's so many. I mean, since our first graduating class of 2012, we probably had an average of somewhere between 8 and 9 kids per year, go through Division I. Everyone that we've had, we've got some one-offs. So probably we had at least 98% on the kids that actually played on the team that I coached full-time, which would be that last year, go to college. And probably almost 98% of that go to a Division I school. So there's so many kids you can talk about. I don't even know where to start at. How about we start at Wesley or Wando? How about Wesley is a kid who played on the team, and Hattie knows this story, where the coach actually wanted to cut Wesley when he was 9 years old. Wesley goes in the bathroom and Subway. The coach takes the uniform out of his bag, drops Wesley off at home while Wesley's walking to his door. He tells the kid that he's cut, doesn't talk to his parents, doesn't do anything like that. Well, listen to me. You need to put a picture up of Wesley right now. He playing professionally, making a lot of money playing basketball.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, that kid, and you know what? Wesley never started for me until his last year, until Christian and Clyde left. He never complained. I heard the guy that just went off before me, stop spoiling the kids. Wesley never complained. Never. He never had a peep to say. All he ever did was work hard.
Wow.
There's so many kids like that. I mean, going down through that. Look at the other kids. I mean, how about a couple years ago, Max Evans? Everybody tell a kid he's too short to play basketball. He can't get it done. He can't play at this level. He was incredible. Ended up about 32 high major Division I offers. I don't know. I know I'm skipping a million kids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know I am, but those are two kids that I really like because they both worked so hard to get to where they are. They both put themselves through it. And I wouldn't say that they woke up in the morning and God gave them all the talent. Right? They had all the gifts when they started. But they both at the top. They're both at the top, and you go from there. I mean, there's probably 20, 30, 40. Miller Kopp I had for 1 year.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Hey, how about Jabari, kid at New Mexico State?
What's his last name?
Jabari Rice.
Okay.
Jabari Rice was a kid who was having problems with his grades. Literally, I would fight with Jabari, right? Mm-hmm. He's gone to school, got himself together, and this year he had a great year. Got agents calling all over him. So, I mean, there are so many stories like that. Now, I know I'm missing a ton of them. A ton of them. And whoever I miss, I do apologize for you. There's a lot of guys back old days that I'm forgetting. And, one kid with the Sam Houston, I forgot his name. Played 4 years there, making money overseas. There's a ton of them. And so, I mean, I don't even know where to miss this whole story at.
I got one for you, Coach. Alfio Vizzi asked Mr. Harrison about the rise of the other Under Armour circuit team, not circuit, but Team Coos Elite, affiliated team, because I don't understand how that kind of stuff works. But what do you think about the rise of that program?
When you say the rise of
that's what he said.
I mean, like the guy. I don't.
Under Armour Rise.
Oh, the Rise. The Rise is a circuit where Under Armour allows teams that not like on the level or on the platform of or on the level of the circuit teams.
Okay.
And all the teams there and the people pay to play. If you have a good team, they'll let you come in. You got to pay to get in. You buy uniforms, you buy your stuff like that.
Okay.
But I don't know Kuzma very well. Larry knows him better than me. I've met him about 3 or 4 times. He seems to be a really good guy to me.
Yes.
I ain't got nothing bad to say about him. Mm-hmm. He does a really good job. I'm from the inner city. He helped inner city kids out. Mm-hmm. I can't do anything but applaud that guy for what he does there, to be honest with you.
Awesome.
Yeah. Great young man. Yates High School, class of 2003. And so Larry,
I want to speak on that Rise situation too. I think that's a really good platform, and Who's Elite did a great job taking advantage of it. You know what I mean? Because they did a different format than like Adidas and Nike did. I mean, it was literally under the same roof, you know, and it was, I mean, they took advantage of the coaches being in the building, you know what I mean? And they played well. They made it to the championship game. We tried to, like, and that's the thing that, like, I go above and beyond to try to give as many opportunities as I can, you know, to teams, because we actually had a rise team too. We couldn't fill it with top-notch players because, of course, people don't want to play on the quote-unquote second team. But it was on the rise, you know, and the same platform that Kuz Elite was on, a lot of kids could have took advantage of that, but they didn't, you know. And I mean, hey, you know, like right now we got two really good second 15s and 16U teams, and they're going to take advantage of that opportunity because it's just one of the things that, like, if you're in the building and you make a play, that coach turn around and see you, he going to come to watch, you know. It's a little bit different if they got to drive 15, 20 minutes down the way to go see you. But if it's in the same building, I think Under Armour's doing a great job with that. And they were kind of ahead of the game with that.
But Larry, a lot of people, do people know that? A lot of people don't know that because I didn't know that. So it's a lot of people.
Well, man, we tried. Over the time that since I've been here, I don't know, you know, a lot before, but I know that Aaron has done a lot, and we've done a lot since I've been here to try to give more opportunities. Because, like, I look at a lot right now, a lot of kids having troubles with their grades and stuff. Mm-hmm. People don't even know, and because it was defenders, we put on 2 free clinics 2 years ago. You know, with Vanessa with the Olympian experience, well, everybody came in. She got you signed up for the SAT. All that stuff was paid for. We didn't have no kids show up because if it wasn't defenders' kids, because I guess people think we're trying to take their kids or something, but we weren't. We're just really trying to put on stuff. Hey, backpacks away. What was the school supplies and everything? Like 60 kids. We had it 2 years in a row. Never got kids outside of the defenders to take advantage of it. That's why I'm with Aaron, because he's all about, hey, we just trying to really do this for the kids. It's not just for the brand or, you know, or just for the defenders. Like, if I can help a kid, like, we've had kids that come out from other programs that been other places, and if we can help them, we'll help them. You know, like, and that was like, I think it was a wasted opportunity last year, you know, and, you know, it had a lot to do with there's a lot of shoot teams in Houston, you know, but I mean, I think it could have been what Kuz had 7 kids go D1. You know what I mean? That was just from playing in front of the teams. That's what it's about, being able to be seen.
Now, earlier, Larry, you mentioned about back in the days, or a few years back, that when you would lose a kid, you know, it would hurt you, it would punch you in the chest. Aaron, has it ever been a kid that you had up under your umbrella that it kind of, you know, it kind of made you feel some kind of way?
Yeah, he ate my food. He lived at my house. I don't have to say no more, do I have? You already know what I'm talking about, right? He ate my food. He lived at my house. And people do, like, this game, this scandalous. They literally gave this boy who was in a rough situation with his grandmother, they literally gave him green cash dollars. And you know what I told him? I told him, take the money. Yeah. Take the money, yes, definitely. I don't want to talk about the team, but, you know, it's Derek, right? I know Derek since he was 7 years old. I bought his school clothes every day he went to school.
I thought he was your other son.
See, there you go. So there you right there. That deal after that, I told Larry, look, man, it is what it is. I understand, and, you know, people got to know, you know, parents need to make your own decision what you think's best. The problem with most people is they got handlers. You know what? Those are my children. Mm-hmm. Me and their mother made them. Mm-hmm. We're going to make the decision best of it, because when they 20, 25 years old, they're only going to look to you because that other guy is gone. Whoever knows everything, the guy that knows everything is gone somewhere trying to help his kids.
Right.
So the handler, you know, because there's 1 million professors. You got 10,000 Phil Jacksons live right there in Houston. Everybody know everything about basketball, right? But, you know, you don't know that kid. You don't know his situation. You don't know his educational situation. You don't know any of that. Wow. You know, you don't know how he reacts to certain things. You don't know, but you're willing to stick your 2 cents in and tell somebody what they should do with their child. That's really, really tough.
Strange.
That's really tough. Mm-hmm. And people know, like, everybody knows me, and everybody know that I'm from Baltimore, and I wanted my sons to go to Maryland. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. They wanted to go to Kentucky.
Right. That's right.
But they have to live with the decisions, not me. So I'm definitely not making the decision for anybody else. Only advice I give on college is love who loves you. If you need me to make some calls for you, I'll get some colleges on the line. I can do that all day.
Right.
But if you got them chasing you and you think you're going after the name on the front, you better go up to who loves you. That's who you love back.
I like that one, Coach.
That's a good, I mean, great words of wisdom, of course. And I remember the decision from Aaron and Andrew Harrison, what took place at Travis High School back in during that prior to that season. Or was it after? I don't remember.
No, it was 2012. It was
2012.
Before the season started.
And I was there. It was a live broadcast on a live announcement, that is, on ESPN at the time. And as you just stated, you could tell. And I was going to ask you that. That's one of the questions, because I noticed that, I've seen dads kind of high five and be yeah, and I've seen dads when the announcement come, you'll be like, you just keep your game face on for the camera. And so did going to Kentucky, if you had to do it all over again as the father, what would you have done differently in your efforts to dissuade them or to steer them back towards closer to home? Well, Maryland is home of Under Armour, and they played Under Armour kids.
Not just that, Jimmy. Like, Texas was in there, Baylor was in there. Those are schools that were close, and not because of proximity, but because they were doing the recruiting. But different things happened in that time that made them choose Kentucky. And listen to me, if you've ever been to Kentucky with the recruit that they want, we were in 9th grade. We were at a John Lucas camp. We went to visit Kentucky we were there. Camp was in Louisville. Mm-hmm. They heard we were coming from Louisville. They had 7 to 8, maybe 10,000 people outside in the parade with Harrison twins commit now. That was 9th grade. So as a kid that age, it's tough to get away from that situation. Yep. And if you notice, you've been to a high school game at Travis, before they committed, they would have 200 to 300 people in Kentucky gear at their high school games. Mm-hmm. So Kentucky is, don't get me wrong, they definitely top-notch, cream of the top, blue blood. It is what it is, but you got to know your situation. The only thing that I would do different is I begged them not to stay that second year, but they wanted to stay because they wanted to win the national championship. Mm-hmm. And the truth is, other kids play differently because they have won. Aaron and Angie have always had to learn to share, right? Share the ball, share. And I think that changes your mentality. When you're on that stage, you need to go get yours and think about it in that way. So those are things. I mean, and if they leave the first year, they're picked a different place. And when you pick a different place, you get more rope. So as young guys always have tough times the first year, but you get chances. You know what I mean? So the GM of the team don't look bad picking you. That's how it works. So it's politics involved in that. But other than that, man, I loved that time at Kentucky. They had a great time there, learned great things, met great people, all of that. But that wasn't my choice because I'm not from Kentucky. That's not what it was for me.
At what point, Aaron, because you were in rare air. There are many dads out there who coach their sons, mm-hmm. who happen to become McDonald's All-American. That's a different fraternity that uplifts from that pool. Uh-huh. But then you were a dad who coached 2 sons at the same time who became McDonald's All-Americans in the same year. That means by way of being twins. So that means you are in rare air.
Very rare air.
Of that. At what point did you understand it was, not saying it wasn't always business, but what point did you realize, hey man, this is business?
Well, Jimmy, I tell you, it's tough. Had to go notice. It's kind of tough to say it's business, is because it's something that you love more than you love anyone on this planet Earth, right? Mm-hmm. Those are my kids. So it's tough to turn them into business, right? Mm-hmm. It's tough to say that they're business, right? Mm-hmm. Even now, they both got millions of dollars. They've done the right thing with their money. The McDonald's, multifamily house. They've done the right thing with their money. It's still like I don't look at them like business. There's no business in it. That's my blood. Right. You know, so I just don't see it that way. So, I mean, maybe I was slow to the party, or I should have looked at it in a different way, but they are happy with themselves, with themselves and with life. They made the choices, and I'm riding with them. They mine. So other than that, I don't have no problem with that at all. Like, I don't really, and I know what you're saying. People looking at business and business. You see me right now, I'm at work, right? So my motto was always, man, son, I don't really need your money. I just want you not to need mine. That's my own.
My goodness. Say that one more time. Go for the people in the back.
Hey, all you got sons, look, keep working your job. You don't need their money. Just make sure they don't need yours. You set them up right, they don't need yours. And there you go.
My favorite saying, Larry, when Robert graduated, I got a raise. I got a raise. Because guess what? I ain't had to give him no more.
And so now, of course, we have, of course, another question from the Boom Boom Room. And somebody, if you're watching right now on the Facebook feed, feel free to share the show to your timelines, to your friends, to any basketball groups that you're a part of, so that they can get some of this conversation and nuggets that Mr. Harrison and Larry Sowers are dropping right now. Great conversation with the Houston Defenders program based out of Houston, Texas. And somebody on the feed asked, I remember who it was, but they typed, do you guys have any spots available on the 17U? And how do your tryouts work?
Okay, this is hard part. Larry's gonna hate this. Listen to me, and I understand his parents. Everybody's son is Michael Jordan in their eyes, right? Everybody loves their son. It's really tough to make one of those teams. Like, I'm one of the few people that are on the circuit that really have tryouts, right? But from the tryouts, example, probably 2 years ago, for 17 and under, I had 91 kids come in, and I had 2 spots available.
Wow.
All right, so it's tough.
What year was that?
That was probably 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago.
With Cameron Cone now?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yep.
But, if you're 7 foot,
we always got a trial spot for you.
You're on. So you're in. 7 foot is all in. I mean, these are facts of the game, and everybody's not going to say, they're not going to, they're going to play the politically correct game. I'm going to tell you what it is. It's tough to get on there and go. Okay? It's tough to get on there and be able to go. We have started practice. We actually had trials already. We're starting practice up again here soon. You can go to our website and check it out. And, if your son's that good enough, it is. I mean, the problem is, I'll tell you, when we finish our practice, I talk to every parent. Look, man, I'm sorry. You may be right and I may be wrong, but I don't think your son is at the level of these other kids. I'm going to take the other kids. And I tell everybody, I don't go around back door, none of that. I tell them face to face or on the phone conversation directly to them, to nobody else, and go from that's how we go.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that, I try to really emphasize with our younger kids and our younger parents, because we got younger teams. We have some really good younger teams. And a lot of times the parents kind of look at me crazy because I've kind of got this from Aaron. I don't care how good you are right now. You know what I mean? Because we've seen it, and I've seen it with my own eyes, with my own groups, that I brought up with it. Like, just because you was the best kid 4th and 5th grade, that don't mean nothing, 4 or 5 years from now. Because a lot of people don't know, Big Eddie is my guy. But Eddie was on our team. Big Doug could tell you, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, and he didn't touch the floor. He never played, but he came to practice. He worked. We had some really athletic kids, so I always tell the parents, people jump from team to team, and this and that. Like, I'm a big believer, and if I could do it all over again, I probably would do it a lot different. But I'd rather, instead of going to Orlando and Oregon and all this, I'd rather spend more money on gym time. Get more time in the gym than spending more money on the road, because right now what you kind of do is you level yourself off. If you don't keep working, you don't stay in the gym, because really, to be honest, I looked at the list and I was trying to find it from going into 9th grade, but the Eddies, the Hayden Hefners, the Nate Clovers, all them guys that got D1 offers off our 2020 team, they wasn't on hardly nobody's radar, freshman year. I mean, and if you keep working, a lot can change for you, And that's not saying that if you are good, you won't be good later. I mean, stay in the gym, don't go crazy if you don't, because I've seen kids get to middle school and they don't get the spot they want, they quit or they change schools. Like, man, just keep working, just stay in the gym. And, hey, if you good, like a lot of people say, like, even with the shoe circuits and stuff, they always say, do you need to be on the shoe circuit to get seen? If you good, they will find you. They will find you. But if you ain't, a 7 footer or whatever, that shoe circuit, you might want to get on there because then they can see you and they can catch your eye. But if you good, they will come and find you. They'll find you.
And now, I want to ask you guys, I've noticed one thing about the Houston Defenders, I've always noticed that there's been at least one player on that 17 and under team that had a last name that had about 5 or 6 syllables. Yeah. What's the pipeline to these international kids? And who's the credit? Who do you give credit to for helping you get those?
Well, it's different times. They come from different places. If you look at the kid that played with Savion Flag, remember the 7'4" kid?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was in an airport at Memphis, and the guy called me and said, "I got this 7-foot kid. He can't play basketball. He's 7'4". He can't play basketball, walk and chew gum at the same time. And this guy putting him out of school, he got nowhere to go. I said, he's 7'4". He can't play. And I said, can he walk? Can he run? He said, yes. He says, if you send him a plane ticket, I'll send you the paperwork. He can come down there and go to school. So that's what happened. I mean, and I've never received a kid from the same person like over and over. Like, I'm not chasing the kid like some of these guys, you have them. These guys that got these kids in, they paying money to get them kids over. Well, that ain't my MO. That ain't gonna work for me. So if you got a kid need some help, you go. And that kid ended up at Georgetown. He was 7'4". That work, that credit. I know y'all know Deal down Beaumont, Deal, and Juwan McClellan. Those are the 2 guys who did that and made that kid who he is. They put in all the work.
Wow.
And now, guess what? And what you got to have?
Good. No, I'm good, man. It's been good. I learned a lot today. I mean,
oh man, absolutely, man. And any last words, man? We got to get ready to land the plane.
Yeah, we got
last words for people out there that are wanting or interested about grassroots basketball, and they think they may be able to get a sneaker deal because they have this one kid that may be in the 6th, 7th grade that's been scoring 40 points a game. Share your thoughts with that for the.
Oh, okay. That's really going to be tough. And it's tough. People don't take that advice from me because I am me. It was your sons. First of all, remember, I had 2 sons. They're both guards. They were probably 6'3", 4 in the 8th grade already. And they were guards, and we played at a national level. And you had the rest of the team around them. So, like, folks, grassroots as we know it, those deals don't come like that anymore. As a matter of fact, they're more likely to cut deals than to add deals. And if you look at every circuit, I know Under Armour cut 8, 9 teams and added 0. So, I mean, just like, because on the rise, you got to pay. So they play on the rise, but they pay to play on the rise. And they can get you to pay to play. That's where you're at. That's what happens. So, I mean, Houston, fortunately, has enough talent that goes around, but I just don't know, Jimmy, that those deals come back around like that again. Now, hey, you got Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal. I ain't pushing them a little one. I just know that they're not one kid in it anymore. They're definitely not one kid.
Absolutely. And Larry, last question. Going into this summer that did not happen, there were only 3 sneaker-sponsored teams for the 17U division. The previous year, there were 4. So the extraction of a team, is that better for Houston or no?
I think that it's better for Houston in a sense because, like people think that, say the talent is down, because we're not dominating, but like we're not dominating because the talent is so spread out. You know, like I look at the numbers. You say on average about 30 D1s per year. So in retrospect, if you're playing on a shoe circuit, you should be a D1. You know, so like it kind of makes it hard when your 7th, 8th guy may be a D2 guy, or an AIA guy, and it's hard to compete when you best to believe Baltimore gonna have their best guys. Them little towns in Ohio and stuff, they're gonna have their best guys, and so with us, it makes it a little harder. But for opportunities, it's always better to have more opportunities. But it just kind of makes it when we're not winning, those opportunities aren't there as much. So like when we're winning, it makes the city look better. You get more coaches in the city, and overall it helps the whole city. So I think that was better. For me, I think that was better. But I always want more opportunities for more kids.
Indeed. Well, guys, man, it's time to land the plane. We want to appreciate you guys so much for joining us on the Chop Shop and share.
Hold on, Jimmy, real quick. I want to say something so I don't forget, because they always say we do.
Do your thing, man.
So everybody know we do have a girls program, and it's headed up by Dirk Minifield. We had a Lady Defenders, and they are up on the rise.
You mentioned Dirk earlier, Aaron. You didn't say you said Keith.
Yeah, I know. You got to mention Dirk.
Come on,
and Dirk
Aaron.
go get him too.
Hey. Me and Dirk go somewhere different. I ain't messing with you.
Okay.
Hey, come on, now y'all know.
I got
me and Dirk like y'all too.
I got
I don't know what y'all talking about.
I got you.
We do have the Lady Defenders, and we're trying to get that up. And another thing that I started last year is that another thing that's coming up that a lot of people haven't seen is 7-on-7 football. We got Houston Defenders has 7-on-7 football, and that's up on the rise. We actually had 4 guys from our football team commit. One, our director for the football side, Marvin Shoulders, his son just committed to Tulsa the other day. We had a kid commit from USC. We're trying to just do as much as we can from the city. We know we don't shine a light on what we do, but we're out here trying to grind and do a lot for as many kids as we can. So always go to our webpage and hit us up. We always got something going on.
I'm loving that logo even more now, because it doesn't take much for your graphics guy to stretch that basketball into a football and stretch out the Houston Defender over there.
We already got it. Look, it's already done.
That's good marketing right there. But once again, guys,
I got this shit. I'm proud of you, Larry. Think about what you're doing. You're reaching out. You're moving your tentacles, and it all started with that man over there. Now y'all are reaching out your tentacles and trying to help football players too. Great thing, Jimmy. End the show.
Yeah, man. Of course, it's just that time, and we thanks a bunch for everybody that's watched the show today. Everybody on both platforms. If you didn't know, we're streaming simultaneously on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. I had somebody ask me that yesterday in the media, because when it comes to the announcement, people watching the show, hey, how do you do it, man? Guess what? Because that guy Haller is over there popping willies on the 1s and 2s over there as though he's a DJ. And they're getting it done. I did it one time myself. I did it one time myself. I said, no, you take it and go run with it. I learned later on. I did it one time. I did okay in my one day when I produced the show. But want to thank you guys for doing so. If you're on the YouTube feed, give us a thumbs up. If you're on the Facebook feed, take out the time on this Baby Friday or through the rest of the weekend to go over to the YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube page. Doesn't cost any money. Don't cost any money. It takes about 5 seconds to subscribe to our page. That way now we have our digital footprint will increase with the viewership on YouTube. If you guys on Facebook, once again, thanks so much for everything. We got big surprises for you guys next week. Be sure to stay tuned to our social media pages. We will confirm. Indeed, we are planning. We normally don't do shows on holidays, but due to COVID-19, Haller was like, what the hell you want to be at anyway? Your happy hour don't start till 4 o'clock anyway. And all that they're trying to convince me, and in all due respect to the late, great Eddie Haskell, that's my Eddie Haskell over there. Always trying to get me. So I guess we're probably in the planning stages. I'm going to confirm the guest for Monday that we're going to have. Is going to be a gigantic surprise. And we're going to finish next week. We got a big show next week.
Next week, don't miss, y'all.
I'm telling you. I mean, we got on Tuesday. We got the great Gary Charles. If you guys understand it, in the grassroots scene, he's one of the Duns. He's one of the 4 on Mount Rushmores of influencers in all of grassroots basketball. Also, we're gonna finish the week up on Thursday. Remember, we're gonna have that whole show will be dedicated to find out who indeed has the best grassroots program of all time. So joining us on the show will be the directors from McIrvin Fire, the Atlanta Celtics, and of course the New York Gauchos from back in the old school. Now, ain't the Gauchos of today. We're going back. And also we got a special conversation live on the Chop Shop is Book Richardson, former assistant coach of Arizona. That's going to be one hell of a conversation 1 week from today. Remember, I told you guys, you wanted the Chop Shop to go outside the parameters of H-Town. We've done it nationwide, baby. So make sure you spread the word. It's going to be going down next week. Anything else?
No, I'm good. Let's yabba dabba do that thing.
Man, you know what time it is? I got my cup right here and it's empty. I'm about to go let it run it over. Meanwhile, we ride on down Dino's back and yabba dabba do this thing. Appreciate it. Thanks to Bunzel Thomas, Aaron Harrison,
Jim Hicks,
it's time for the week.
Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. Jim Hicks, Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the